In today's video, I'm going to show you how to write a business letter with a letterhead. So in this example, here we have our letterhead here, and the letterhead would include the name of the company, the address, and also it could include the contact information such as the telephone number, email, and also it may have the motto or slogan for the company. Here I have my logo for the company, right? And to the letterhead will be placed inside the header. How would you see the header? You would double click on the top section and then you would see the box with the label header. So that is how you know you're in the header, right? So here's the logo, right? So the letterhead will be placed in the header and it is from 2 inches from the top of the page on the first page only. On subsequent pages, the measurement would be 1 inch. All right. Now, the business letter is important because it's an external document that enables companies and individuals to communicate with their customers and clients and external stakeholders such as suppliers, and the different agencies that the company needs to communicate with. The business letter is important because it forms a permanent record, especially if it has some legal implications. Once it is signed, it's a permanent record. And the other thing, the business letter in the printed form maintains confidentiality. So unlike the digital letter, the printed letter is more confidential because you would have to have the printed copy in your hand to actually see the letter. It also conveys formality. So if you get an acceptance letter from a university, it gives you more a special feeling than if the same letter was emailed to you, right? The business letter is mainly used for communicating with external persons or agencies or companies which are external to the company. All right, so I'm gonna close the header by clicking below, and I'm now in the regular part of the letter, right? So this is the header with the letterhead up the top section. Then we have the date line. You're to type out the entire month of the year, not to use the, for example, you wouldn't write the 9/5/2025. You have to write out the word May. Okay. Then we have the inside address. You have the title of the person followed by a full stop. Then we have the first name and last name of the person who is receiving a letter, and also the title of the person, the name of the company that the person works at, the address, and also the town and the zip code. Then we have the salutation. We write dear, and we put the title of the person, whether it's sir, whether it is Mr., Mistress, or Doctor, and then the person's surname followed by a colon. Or you could put a comma, but we normally put a colon. Then we have our opening sentence, right? And for example, it says the reason for this letter is to show and explain the formatting for a business letter. The structure of a business letter is first discussed, right? Now you need to have a transition sentence. So this sentence, transition sentence to lead you to the next paragraph, right? So this first opening there would be the introduction. Then here now we have the body. So for example, when you're writing a business letter, there are some important points to remember, right? One, and you can use bullet a numbered list to improve readability of the business letter. So we say one, set the margins between 1 and 1.5 inches. Two, the date should start 2 inches from the top of the paper or one blank line below the letterhead, whichever position is lower. This is for the first page only. And in the third numbered list, use about 5 lines after the date. For shorter letters, you would use more lines, and for longer letters, you use fewer lines. So let me show you. So I'm going to show you this recommended spacing, and then I'll explain what we mean by fewer lines or longer lines. All right. Then you always have one blank line between paragraphs. Okay. The business letter can be written using 2 letter styles. The 2 popular styles are block and modified block. For the block style, all the lines, that is the sentences, start at the left of the page, right? And as a result, it's easier to read and therefore communicate your ideas. For the modified block style letters, the date and closing lines begin at the center. If you are using any one of these styles, the complementary close is followed by 3 blank lines before the signature of the writer. The enclosure notations and reference initials, if used, appear in the lower left-hand corner of the page. So here we have a blank line between the closing paragraph. I will be making and posting a video on how to write a letter. I hope that you and your office staff find the information helpful. So in the closing, we want to sum up what our business letter was about, and also some call to action. What suggestions do we want the persons to give us, or also what actions we want them to take from our letter, right? Then we have the complementary closing, which is sincerely, and put a comma. Now, if you use dear sir or madam, then you wouldn't write the sincerely, you would write yours faithfully. Okay? Then here's the signature of the person who initiated the letter. Then the printed name. So this is the signature. Here we have the printed name and also the title of the person. Then we have the reference initials, right? Now, the reference initials is not used so frequently again. However, maybe government agencies and maybe lawyers and those persons who would write formal documents, maybe the embassy. So, the capital letters SB is the initial for the person who initiates the letter, right? The initials for the person who initiates the letter. Then it's followed by a colon and then the abbreviation of the person who typed the letter or prepared the letter, maybe a secretary, okay? So maybe the secretary's first name begins with B, their middle initial is V, and the surname could be France, for example, if the surname is France. Then we have CEC for carbon copy, meaning did you copy the letter to any other persons other than Mr. Thomas here? And did you write a blind copy and send it to somebody else who you don't want Mr. Brown to know that you had actually copied it to somebody else? Then if you're going to put any attachments or enclosures with this letter, then you would type enclosure or attachment, whichever one you choose to use depending on the document that you're attaching or enclosing, right? So this is how you would prepare a business letter. Not every business letter would have the reference initials because, as you said, it's not um, frequently used nowadays. However, if the first, we normally type our letters ourselves. So if we type the letters ourselves, we wouldn't have the reference initials. You would only use the reference initials if it will be prepared by somebody else other than the person who initiates the letter. For example, if a secretary prepared the letter. No, not every business letter would have these three items, right? So if you're not sending a copy to someone else and you don't have any enclosures or attachments, you wouldn't see these three items here listed on every business letter, okay?
Thanks for watching the video and don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, comment and share.